Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back here with another video. Of course, as I've discussed before, in April, May and June, my plan was to support projects that somehow benefit Asia, all being well. So I don't know how well a job I did. Obviously, this is the last day of June, and there is a new month upon us soon, and I'm hoping to focus on supporting Indigenous/Native Americans, people from the Americas. So I'm looking forward to hopefully coming up with some ideas to unite them and support them. But anyway, I would have liked to have done a better job of supporting people from Asia, especially, and the Asian diaspora, but especially in Asia itself, in these 3 months, but especially in June. But anyway, it is the way it is. Hopefully in August I'll return to a lot of projects, to support what I call the four, generally, including doing videos about the four, who are the four, and all of the four, and that sort of thing. Anyway, here goes. What are my ideas for potentially empowering people across Asia, especially, and the Asian diaspora? As usual, I'm going to do my 10 3-part videos of 10 points each. So here goes. Hopefully these aren't too repetitive from previous videos, and hopefully as many people out there enjoy it as possible, and it will benefit as many people from Asia, the diaspora, and people from Asia itself as possible. So here goes. Number 1, I hope to raise the profile of their entrepreneurs and projects that they do across Asia, architects, artists, and all sorts of people across Asia. As I've mentioned before, it's Tuesday today, so I hope to focus on business, banking, and how banks can invest in businesses, and all sorts of things like that, but raise profile of random Asian entrepreneurs and YouTubers, places to see and things to do in Asia, and that sort of thing. Number 2, again, supporting as many projects in Asia as possible, and projects such as Unite for Asia or Teach for Asia, hashtag Teach for Asia, and that sort of thing, to teach young people, especially girls, across Asia, and to empower them in entrepreneurship and other such areas. Also support their YouTubers, tourism industries, and all sorts of industries. I know I have these alliterations, so I think like for Mondays I hope to focus on like manufacturing in the future. But yeah, so like manufacturers to come together and support Pan-Asian networks, which I hope to come to. Number 3, I dream for Asian nations to become tax havens, and also to get freebies and things like that, and look how to invest that tax in empowering young people, business people, more people set up their own businesses, and that sort of thing. And that can be like as a form of reparations, as I hope to come to perhaps in the future. Number 4, I hope to help Asian nations come together more, and also like encourage people of color, POC, whether that's Black, Asian, mixed race, Native American, or whatever, people to come together, and possibly those with an interest in Asia as well, but especially people of color, to come together, support Asia, and that sort of thing, and create organizations. I thought of quite a few different names for organizations, but perhaps there should be one organization with many different nicknames. Which could be, so I'm trying to remember the name of the acronyms I thought of, but yeah, like sort of the P.A.U, which stand for Pan-Asian Union, P.A.N, Pan-Asian Network, and things like that. So that all these groups, again, could be just one group with different nicknames, like the P.A.U for Pan-Asian Union, P.A.N for Pan-Asian Network, or things like that. So yeah, as I say, different names, but with the same goal, which would be, again, it could be one organization with many different nicknames, which would look at how to resolve conflict. Central Asia could host, or different nations in Central Asia could host events that bring Asia together in Pan-Asianism, maybe even people from the diaspora as well, to visit, to be encouraged to visit Asia, and Asians to visit each other's nations, and Central Asia to host events that bring different Asian nations together, and also conflict resolution, like when there's land disputes, they could discuss their arguments for each side's argument for owning what sort of land, so that hopefully there'll be peaceful resolutions made to decide who has what claim to what land, and that sort of thing. So hopefully it can end conflict as much as possible across Asia, and have as little conflict as possible. Number 5, again, I hope my goal is to help support Asia as much as possible, especially, and people from the diaspora, as I say, but particularly people from Asia, and also encouraging those from the diaspora to support Asia, and possibly like people, Asians, or those of Asian background around the world, the diaspora, including mixed race people like myself, to donate as much of their taxes as possible to legally, of course, to or lobby for that right to their ancestral homelands, and to again, Asia could be a tax haven, and like that could be overseas aid. It could be like people of colour giving money back to our ancestral homelands and things like that for our own taxes. So we could choose, and maybe like say an Asian person or a black person who lives in the UK, for instance. I'll stick with Asian at the moment, but or even mixed race, like so part Asian or whatever, including Blasian or Eurasian or whatever, could perhaps lobby so that half our tax money could go back to our ancestral homelands and help them out with like businesses and help people from slums and orphanages and disadvantaged backgrounds, help them build their roads and hospitals, schools, education, and so on and so forth, training, whatever. Again, business development and support as well, entrepreneurship. And the other half could go to our host nation, like an Indian person in the UK, whether they're mixed race like myself, mixed bloods, or the pure breeds, if you like, could donate. It's like, okay, you might want to give half your money to the tax to the UK to help pay for healthcare or education. But I think we should try to find a way, and I think it'd be great if we could find a way to boycott wars, weapons trade, military industrial complex, and things like that, and spend our tax money on these sorts of things. I did want to be more organised and talk about what I think tax should be used for. And yesterday I had so many ideas, but I didn't quite get around to doing a lot of them on paper or online, unfortunately. So that was a bit of a shame. But yeah, hopefully in August I'll talk about like those tax deals I'd love to make, and also like alternatives to join the military, and how I think we should support our own people instead, and how people of colour could join the police, all that kind of thing instead. Anyway, moving on. Number 6, again, I'd love to make as much peace as possible across Asia and talk about the hard-working entrepreneurs and success stories and brilliance of Asian entrepreneurs and endeavour and that sort of thing. Number 7, I hope that God will bless Asian enterprises, perhaps, or people from the poorest backgrounds, especially, or at least people from poorer backgrounds. And I'd love to hear from other people's ideas, and hopefully all will be well. I don't believe God blesses us with wealth, but hopefully with the opportunity to make wealth as well, not make money, oh God, but to work towards at least having enough to get by as well, helping people in slums and orphanages, especially the poorest people. But I would also love to help people who are either poor or rich across Asia from all backgrounds. Again, making Asia more united, encouraging Pan-Asianism and that sort of thing. Number 8, again, I hope just like people of colour, black, mixed race, and Native American as well as Asian will support Asia, people from the diaspora, and that sort of thing, improving relations between Asia and Africa, and that's a way to tackle like white supremacy and neo-Nazism, far right, and that sort of thing. As I've talked about before, but yeah, I think we should empower Asia as well as Africa. And as I say, at the moment I'm thinking more of Asia, but in October, November, and December, I hope, and maybe January, February, March, think more of like the global black diaspora in Africa and things like that. Number 9, I hope like people will teach Asians to how to make business plans. People from disadvantaged backgrounds, again, like from slums and orphanages, dyslexic people, as I've talked about before. So I hope to keep working on those projects in August and next year as well, in April, May, and June, to empower Asia. And hopefully, like I say, people of colour will support Asia as much as possible, anti-racist or anti-nationalist will support Asia and that sort of thing. And number 10, I hope to empower the youth, especially, as I said before, like I think I mentioned YouTubers, like looking at the top 30 YouTubers. Asia's Got Talent, I think I forgot to mention. Asian young Asian entrepreneurs, and how to empower them for the future and that sort of thing. I think that covers everything. Again, like top 30 places to see in Asia and things like that as well. So the tourism industry and or sector, or whatever you call it. So I'd love to hear what you think about each of those points, or any other thing you might want to share, and or any ideas you have and that sort of thing. So thanks for checking out my video if you made it this far. And hopefully I wasn't too repetitive as to say, but yeah, I'll have to do these things in as soon as possible, like in August next year and that sort of thing. So please let me know how you think I did this month, and whether you think I was active enough in trying to pursue my ideas. Anyway, I'm out. Peace and love.